Shakuhachi. It has the elegant and lingering tone. Sometimes it makes you feel a gusty wind. The tone shakes the souls of Japanese. Shakuhachi is handmade from carefully selected timber bamboo by craftsmen. No two things are the same. Utaguchi, embosher. The sound is created by blowing to the sharp edges. 5 ubiana, finger holes, in total on front and back. Nakatsugi, middle joint, connects the upper part and the bottom part. Kanyuri, the end part made from a bamboo root. And precisely made, naike, or. All of these are important in creating of shakuhachi sound. Shakuhachi was introduced from China in the Nara period as an instrument for gagaku. It had 6 holes, unlike modern shakuhachi. Hitowagiri shakuhachi, with 5 holes, and 1 node appeared in the Middle Ages. This shakuhachi, called nokaze, has been inherited from Oda Nobunaga to Toyotomi Hideyoshi and then to Tokugawa Ieyasu. In the Edo period, komus, monks of the Fuke sect of Zen Buddhism, made pilgrimage around Japan. Fuke shakuhachi was used by them, and it's the origin of the modern shakuhachi. Matsuyama, Ehime. Matsuyama is a city of literature, with the spacious Matsuyama Castle and Go Onsen, with the ancient atmosphere. In the city, there is a young man preserving the tradition with craftsmanship. Shakuhachi craftsman, Ohagi Yasuyoshi.
もう作ろうと思うともう深夜までやりたくなるし、目が覚めてもう起きたら作ってるみたいなそういうペースでやりたいなっていうのはありますね。やっぱやってると楽しいですからね。
Ohagi plunged into this world to make shakuhachi that makes his ideal sound. After the training of 5 years, he started a shakuhachi studio Jian, as he's recommended by his master. He's also a performer who won the first prize in Kumamoto Japan Music Contest. He is passionate about shakuhachi. This is Ohagi's master, Nishida Ross. He's the 3rd generation of Nishida Ross's shakuhachi studio, with a history of 100 years. He's been doing this for 50 years. With his great skill as a shakuhachi player as well, he's the Grandmaster of Tozanryu Shakuhachi Foundation.
ある時点の形をそのまま受け継ぐのが伝統じゃないと思うんですよね。私の場合もそうですけど、先代と同じものを作ってる方は違うと思うんですよね。まあ演奏の方もやってますからね。だからそっちも含めてとにかく人にこう支持される。そういう存在になってほしいと思いますね。
One shaku 8 soon is the standard size of shakuhachi, and there are different sizes of it. The different size of shakuhachi is made from different size of bamboo.
まずこれ1尺8寸用の定規なんですね。ここに8って書いてあって、この丸い印が指の穴が開く場所なんですね。で、この指の穴が開く場所に例えばこういうふうに節がかかっちゃうと1尺8寸にはならないと。
The making of shakuhachi begins now. Ohagi picks up a large tool. The nodes of the bamboo get softened by fire at some distance. In the perfect timing, wood pieces are put on the bamboo. This is tamanasi, the process to rectify the bend of the bamboo. It's important not only for the appearance, but also for the sound. All the bends on the nodes are rectified, one by one. The bamboo gets cut into 2 pieces after roughly cutting of the root with a grinder. The cutting point will be nakatsugi, middle joint. The root part full of nodes gets drilled to make a hole.
これで節抜いていきます。
The chisel called ken is used by twisting it.
これで下巻の穴の形が決まるんで結構慎重です。
There's a tenon pipe inside the nakatsugi. He cuts a hole to insert a tenon pipe. Groove with a marking gauge called kebiki. And cut a hole with 2 types of chisels. Nakatsugi enables them to precisely adjust the bore, which is important for the tune. Without the high precision, the air leaks out and the sound can't be made. Putting in and out tenon pipe gives the force to nakatsugi. To prevent the bamboo from cracking, the outer side of the tenon joint is reinforced with a string. We visited the Shakuhachi class Ohagi is teaching in. He gives a lesson focusing on breathing and having fun. This is Raphael from America. He came to Japan to practice Shakuhachi and works at a kindergarten.
YouTube で聞いたらなんか尺八の音がいいなと思ってで同僚が、尺八の吹きたかったら、先生がいるんですよって言ってくれてそれから、この授業に参加できるようになりました。
As a Shakuhachi craftsman, it is also important to convey the appeal of Shakuhachi. He starts the work at the studio. Draw a center line perfect for each bamboo. Mark the holes precisely. The finger holes are made with a powered drill. A little error can affect the tone. The next step is the making of blowing edge. Ohagi drives to a mountain, an hour away from Matsuyama. He doesn't hesitate to walk up the hill road. He came here to harvest bamboos for Shakuhachi. Cuts off the upper part and dig out around it with this billhook, not to hurt the root.
これだと本当に一尺三寸とかそういうサイズになっちゃうかもしれないですね。柄はすごいありますけどね。
Timber bamboo for shakuhachi is very rare. The interval between nodes, length, thickness and curve. If you consider all the factors, it's hard to find many good ones in a day.
いやー、すごくいい竹やぶでした。尺八になりそうな竹がいっぱいありましたね。運が良かった。
But they have to be dried at least for 2 years to make shakuhachi. He continued to make shakuhachi. He prepares to cut the embouchure. A line to cut off along is drawn judging by a horizontal line on the finger holes.
中間地点ぐらいにも。
Then he cuts a hole in a crescent shape. This hole is to insert an inlay. Transform an acrylic plate into the perfect shape for the hole. Now the tip is in a perfect crescent shape. Wrap a short strip of the gold sheet around the tip. The tip with a gold sheet is inserted into the embouchure. Then he cuts off the plate and rasps the surface. You can see the embouchure with a gold sheet. It's time for the important process for the tone. First, scrape off the bumps and fibers in the bamboo with a chisel. File into the round shape with this tool called garib. There are still some node bumps inside. It looks smooth, but it's not ready to be tuned yet.
これで曲吹け言われたらちょっと困っちゃいますね。
The bore is then coated with a putty-like substance called yi, which is then shaved to give it an elaborate finish. The next is the breathtaking process of bore adjustment. On this day, Ohagi played Shakuhachi on Come to Matsuyama Jazz Festival. This is his first time playing Shakuhachi in a jazz concert. It's for having everyone listen to it with their own ears and enjoy it. In the workshop, the tuning process, which is most important in the making of shakuhachi, begins.
さあ、
The bore is coated with a putty-like substance called yi. which is then shaved to give it an elaborate finish. Yi is made by adding water and Japanese lacquer to the mixture of grinding powder and plaster. Yi is spread on all over the board uniformly. This is like competing with time, because Yi consists of water and lacquer of which the surface dries quickly. This is a reamer that makes the bore diameter ideal by scraping off Yi in a groove. But still, the surface is rough. It will be dried for a week in this state. While drying Yi, he works with a silver string and a brass strip. He applies silver solder to them and braises them into ring shapes with a burner. Shape and braise them together to make them into silk hat shape. The silk hat-shaped ring is the connecting part of the joint. Each piece of natural bamboo has a different shape. The dried Yi is being shaved a little by little, using a gauge to check the diameter.
内径測るゲージです。銀あたりまでは削りたいんですね。入るまで削りたいぐらいですね。
The numbers on the gauges correspond to the diameter of the bore.
こっちが缶の上の方の直径で、こっちが缶の下の方の直径になります。まあ上の方と下の方でだいぶ違いがあるのが見たらわかりますね。多分結構いいと思います。この苦しい作業もこの音が出るのを一応確認できると、なんていうんですかね、報われる感じはしますよね。
On this day, Ohagi came to Kagoshima with his master. It's for the Shakuhachi exhibition at the concert by Tozanmuru Shakuhachi Foundation, Kuzu branch. Kitaharase Kado in Kyoto and Sensu Shakuhachi Studio in Tokyo. The exhibition with those two are a good incentive.
やっぱりね、なり方もよく研究されてるし、いいんじゃないですか。
It makes him happier than anything to talk with the customers. We're gonna see how he tunes the shakuhachi. We asked him how to play shakuhachi.
メリット仮っていうのがあるんですけど、そのメリっていうのは、音程を下げる技法ですね。仮っていうのはここの開口面積を広げていくことによって音程が上がっていくんですね。っていう感じですね。でこれを組み合わせることによってこれがまあ首振り3年とかそう言われたりしますけどはい。
Holes made by scraping Yi is covered with another type of yi, with more lacquer. Once it's dried, the surface gets smoothed by sandpaper. Next, he adjusts the interval.
この穴とこの穴ですね、が低いんで削っていきますね。
The pitch can be higher by shaving the upper side of the holes and enlarging them. The next step is to apply the second and finish coat of lacquer to adjust the interval. Put a wet paper on a spot in the bore and play it. If that makes a good change, apply lacquer on the spot. This is repeated to pursue the quality of the sound avidly. After polishing the outer surface, Jian Shakuhachi is finished with the best efforts by Ohagi. We asked Ohagi to play the Shakuhachi in the presence of his master. We asked the master about crafting shakuhachi.
どういうな作品を作るかはそれも本人次第ですからね。音色一つにとっても僕の好きな音色と大江君の好きな音色とは違うとね。吹く人が求めているものをそれに応えていくのが、我々の仕事ですから。
Always do his best to introduce the appeals of shakuhachi. Make the perfect one for the customer and for himself to be satisfied with. With that ambition in him, the young man opens a door to tomorrow to step closer to his dream.